So I want to thank all of you that were here. Oh, there she goes, bapping the camera. All of you who are here for our minis raffle, and for those of you who missed it or didn't get your name pulled, there's October's mini raffle, which is Wednesday the 16th, as that is the third Wednesday of the month. I still have Pete and Jeremy from DnD Time. You can see their website up here, who I will be going into a super secret chat room with, and we're going to be, ma'am, that's not a cord you can, ma'am, no, don't eat that. Anyway, so they opened some boxes on their stream and came up with a concept for a game that could be played with all of the miniatures. You know, for a good, I don't want to call it necessarily a one-shot adventure, but an adventure all the same. I'm going to go into the super secret chat room, and I am going to be joining with them, and we're going to go through our worksheet that we have here on creating a settlement. And after we create the settlement, actually I'm going to move this over to the side here. After we create a settlement, then whether or not they can stay, because, I mean, if they have to go, they have to end up going, because it is kind of late, and especially, well, really for both of them, despite the time difference. We are going to see if there's enough time to flesh out some NPCs. If not, because who knows how long this will take, and I'd rather do some quality and not sort of force it or rush it. We'll see what we do with the figures that they pulled, and I want to be sure to actually go over here to Descent into Avernus. When I first got my shipment in, my initial shipment, I carved some off and I sent them off to them, and as a way to like have a fun roleplay challenge. And these two mad lads have stepped up and done so. So we're gonna take a look at the figures that we're talking about, and I would like you all to put your thinking caps on. As we're going to be discussing a rock band that is filled with devils and demons, actually named Inner Demon, or Inner Demons, plural. All right, Dark Wolf, thanks for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you around. That's right, Dark Wolf also painted the prize goblins. And let's drop down into it here. Super secret chat room. Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
hello.
Good evening or good morning.
Good news,
Yeah, there we go. Good news, everyone.
Oh, I gotta mute the stream now. I'm hearing.
Oh.
I'm hearing triple.
device that allows us to create incredible adventures using only miniatures.
I love this Farnsworth approach. Let's change the music to something kind of cool. And actually, we're going to go to the abandoned windmill. Oh, so much good stuff on tabletop audio.
Well, I don't want to get scared, Maddie. That sounds like a scary track.
It's very scary. It's a very awesome too. The abandoned windmill.
Blood is saying they cannot quite hear us.
Oh, whoa. Let me see if that can be fixed.
Can you hear me now?
Are you able to hear us well, Maddie?
I can hear you, but I have headphones on. Let me check the. All right, try talking again.
Here I am. I'm Pete. And we'll know
that helps.
in 10
Okay.
to 15 seconds.
Yes, I do see you reaching that sacred yellow spot on the volume bar. So I think we're good.
That's right where I like to be.
saying that's where we're good now.
Okay,
Wonderful.
excellent. All right, so to offer a quick recap, I think I might have done that with the intro, but you two busted open some boxes of Avernus. You didn't know what was inside. This was completely. There's a random prompt. This was improvisation. And after some contemplation and a suggestion from chat, which it was amazing how one sentence can just change the course of history. But of course, I think that's what history's littered with.
Pete and I are experts about taking a single sentence and crafting something ridiculously large out of it. We do it every week.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the theme for your D&D Time one-shots, or kind of the methodology, right?
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
You just take one adventure, one seed, and grow a beautiful adventure tree out of it.
Oh.
Any dumb throwaway pun from chat, basically you can... Like, anytime anyone makes a pun in chat, you have to know that what you're doing isn't making a pun, but choosing what our next adventure is going to be.
I don't know, it's not necessarily the next adventure. Demi-snakes
Oh,
on the
no,
demi-plane hasn't happened yet.
It goes down the week. Like, someone at one point was just like, and then the Sky Dwarf. And I was like, of course there are Sky Dwarves.
Of course.
Yeah.
So there you go, kids. Don't let your memes be dreams.
Yeah.
Make them come to life.
But yeah, we put together a cool little, I like what we came up with back on Pete and Jeremy's D&D, or not Pete and Jeremy's, D&D Time Brews a while ago now. We were starting to put together the makings of something of a concert, Maddie.
All of those many years ago on D&D Time Brews.
And I did take a couple notes here about the things that were opened up, and I'll actually go over real quick. So you had popped a Glabrazu, which is our kind of come at me bro character here.
We got Little Blabby.
Which is going to be a drummer, and I think the hands really just sort of speak for themselves here. Unless for some reason very delicate claws and actually, beats the drums with his claws, and the little hands do something else. Maybe just like cheer people on.
I'm looking at how those little arms are sticking out now, and I'm just thinking, if he didn't have the huge claw arms, that'd be like in a dancing position.
I was also thinking T-Rex vibes for sure without those big arms.
It's true.
Now we had 2 Marigons, and our baby-faced Marigons here. You ended up popping one of each. The Marigons you thought would make really good sort of bouncers or security, so like general at the admission booth kind of a thing, standing there looking all metal and menacingly, and just something about those baby faces, right?
There's just something about those baby faces.
Something about them.
We had an Arenyes that is our singer. She's the lead vocalist for our band, the Inner Demons. Is
that the correct pronunciation of that? I've said Arenyes my whole life.
It
my
is.
whole life, I mean when I learned the word probably a couple of years ago.
Arenyes, from what I have used it as and what I have heard in several different D&D audiobooks, Arenyes seems to be the correct pronunciation.
Then I will trust your wisdom on this matter.
And so what I would like to do is go back in time to your brews and amend what I said, what I would like to add, and to the monster manual, I would like to add a pronunciation guide to all the names.
And I'm looking it up now. They're based on the Furies from Greek mythology.
Yeah.
And they are Arenyes.
There it is.
There we go. Crazy
Now,
how everything's stolen from something.
You
It's
had
Greek mythology.
Well, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, which that quote itself is also out of an ancient script.
The Maddie Morg's original.
Yeah, you heard it here first, everyone. There's nothing new under the sun. Please don't look in one of the most popular books in the world. Now, you also popped a Legion Barb Devil here with 2 axes and one with an axe and a flame. And you were discussing that we have our guitar and our guitarist and our bassist, or was I misunderstanding?
We had a disagreement here.
Oh yeah,
I
me
think
and Jeremy
it
were
should
coming
be
to blows.
guitarists and basses. Pete thinks that one of them should hold the guitars and the other should play the guitar.
Because I think making 2 of the same guys that are the guitarist and bassist makes them feel like they're background nothings, which I think is your goal actively, Jeremy,
Yes.
is to make them less important. So I want to make every band member equally important, and Jeremy wants to emphasize the Glabrazu and the Arenyes lead singer.
Well,
Yes,
so
100%.
So what if you did the double axe Legion Barb Devil as a double guitar bass, and so it holds it over its shoulder, plays one with its hand and the other with its tail. And what if you did something like the Legion Barb Devil? It uses the magic it's holding almost like a synth or a theremin, and plays the spell to provide like an interesting, because it's not a ska band. I don't think he's playing brass. But so what if you have like a theremin or kind of a spooky?
Really? I was getting some Sublime vibes here.
I very much want them to stand on each other's shoulders, so as long as that's the end result, I'm fine with that.
You had also opened up a Narzagon and Nightmare, and a multi-part piece. So that this is all they're the same piece in separate pieces. And after looking at Narzagon here, the ultimate there was a lot of good ideas. I think the one that really fit is he is the scorned ex-band member who's come back to try and offer a comeuppance, like an outperformance. I will foil you and I will win in this petty act of vengeance. Because I mean, honestly, if it's a devil, then that's kind of what they do. That's their currency.
Exactly. He's gonna steal the show, is what he wants to do, I think.
And Olanthius, which was also opened, is the band manager. So he'd be kind of a behind the scenes, like a backstage.
I mean, he kind of looks like a band manager.
Yeah. I feel like there's actually a lot of band managers for metal bands that have this almost exactly.
You had a Chain Devil, which you wanted to be sort of like one of their biggest fans dressed up is definitely... I don't know if he's breaking the taboo of wearing the shirt of the band you're going to see, but he's in the mosh pit and is very noticeable. You know, he's just a mega fan. And you also wanted to put Mickey the Flesh Golem in the mosh pit too. However, he was kind of the outcast, the ne'er-do-well. He's the obsessive collector. In fact, it seems like he's been collecting parts from band members for a while. You know,
all the drummers.
Their biggest fan.
You know, apparently carrying that satchel is probably, you know, like a bunch of like sweaty, like sweat-soaked handkerchiefs and. You know, like a broken drumstick and all the stuff that he's scavenged. Boy. And, you know, he's one of those obsessed fans. So he's there as well. You had the Maw Demon, which was a speaker, like their mega bass speaker, on stage. Am I correct with that? Like,
I thought we throw him in the mosh pit. I guess we could do that too, yeah.
Oh, you can put him in the mosh pit as well.
He's one of the two.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay.
One way or the other.
Yeah, so he goes around. In fact, maybe it's sort of a remote speaker. Everyone wants to... It's actually a game of don't drop the bass, as he just kind of blom, and everyone's passing him around like a beach ball. Because he's about that size. Well, I don't know, he's a medium-sized creature, technically, but anyway.
He looks small. I'm
a
with
spherical
you.
dwarf, instead of a cubical one.
Even though he is medium, he looks like he's kind of small.
I think the term I would use to describe him is chumby. I don't know if that means anything.
I don't know.
Exactly
we might have just invented a word.
Jeremy,
I'm pretty sure I did. He's chumby.
Shakespeare. You're Shakespeare.
Then we had a Legion Spine Devil, who is working backstage security. So for people with VIP passes, probably is on the lookout to make sure that Mickey, once he's done moshing, because Mickey always buys the VIP passes, though he's very... belligerent or obsessive, and he's kind of like a that guy kind of a character. But he stands in the backstage area, wings out. We got the little trident, so he's not the type that the Maragons are like, you can't get in here with them shoes. It's not necessarily like that, but he checks passes and takes up the area, and if he needs to, can do some aerial recon. His staff member in this case. Then you had Oleanthus was the manager. You had an Armonite who is the crew. Sort of like the old roadie, an old roadie who has been around, kind of knows the territory, doesn't take...
I was gonna say, that was one of your babies, Maddie. That was a great idea on your part there.
Yeah, he's just kind of grizzled, has traveled all over, doesn't take crap from anyone, and is there, like... He's there because he enjoys the music, but he runs it like his business. Like, look, we got to set up. We got to get the Maw Demon out there. We got to get all this. Where's the tickets? Hey, you get your shirt in line. And, next we're going to go to the Dale Lands. And, if you've never been there before, I'll tell you about the people, the Dales folk. Jeez. Of course, referencing Toril in the Forgotten Realms. Doesn't have to be, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm digging my dog.
And then we come to our adorable, lovable Babao. And Babao here is just this half devil, half demon. Looks cruel and wicked and bloody and murderous, but is really just there to have a good time because he can identify with the band inner demons. because he is just this mix. Maybe he's been made fun of, and music is something that doesn't judge him. Music is something that empowers him, and maybe he aspires to, to be like the inner demons, just not in the way that Mickey the Flesh Golem is by being the inner demons.
You mean this blood on my hands?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just makeup. I just like to get into the spirit of things.
Yeah. It's like, putting on like Kiss makeup or something to go to a concert, or just things along those lines. Or, if you're going to go watch like a death metal band, put on your face makeup, enjoy it, get into it. So you came up with this list of really cool NPCs that would be a part of this adventure. And what I wanted to do with you is to sit down and say, all right, well, we have this cast, though where's the stage? Where are we setting our stage? And I think that we can accomplish this with a really fun, and it could be quick. I mean, we could take as much time or as little time. We're not going to take as much time because I want to be time sensitive for y'all. But we can go through a fun little worksheet that we use here at the Matty Morgs channel in our workshop to go over creating a setting for an adventure. And it could be, if you don't want to just set it in the Forgotten Realms, or even if you do and you say, well, where should I put it, and kind of leave it to chance. This is a methodology that you can use in order to do that. And so the first step, and actually I need a...
Well, I was going to say, one of the things I love about this methodology is it's a setting agnostic methodology. Whether we wanted to run this adventure in the lands of D&D Time, we could generate a location within the lands of D&D Time using this.
Correct.
Or if you're playing in the Forgotten Realms, let's say you're playing, Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, and you decide you want to tie these characters into your adventure somehow, this is a really cool thing. You just generate a thing and bada boom. You can stick it in there somewhere.
I think in the same vein, one thing that this is not probably agnostic on in the way that we're discussing it right now is tonally. There is a little bit of, it's a little bit silly, and it would fit in a game that's not taking itself too seriously. But I think that but what I was going to say is I think that this entire setup that we've built could also be just tuned up a little bit, like just to make it feel a little bit more traditional high fantasy and actually make it fit into any like even more serious campaign. I think you could change the band from like a rock band with heavy instruments into just talented like demonic and devilish musicians, and this is like a way for devils to blow off steam and like come to this place and see these these events and shows. I think you could actually make this,
or some kind of carnival of souls, maybe. That it's something kind of spooky that happens, and if if not perhaps in a more Halloween-y sort of way, then I mean the currency of devils are souls, and they roll through town and trying to entice people, maybe get them to fall a little bit off their wagons of morality.
Yeah, another very cool angle to go with it.
I will say, this gives me, like Pete, we're talking about that more serious approach. This gives me such a Phlegethos vibe.
Oh, for
because
sure.
Because it's like, it's the casino level of hell, right? It's like the most lawless free form. This is where devils go to chill and just do what they, I don't know, I love that idea.
Yeah, I could definitely see this as being a cool thing to like toss into your Phlegethos if you're ever trying to do that, because I feel like it's really hard. A lot of those, as someone who's DM'd those hells, sometimes it's hard to flesh them out with like meaningful locations. Because the DM guide doesn't give you a ton to go on. You kind of have to fill in a lot of that blank plane yourself.
And what's great about something like this, right, Maddie, is we're going to flesh this out right here. We're going to start putting this together. And anyone who's watching could just, take a note. And at some point, if you're ever running a campaign and your characters end up in Phlegethos, well, but boom, you got something done, ready to roll.
Yeah, and just because we roll something doesn't mean you have to abide by it. If everything works, but I don't really like, let's say we roll grasslands. You say, I'm not really feeling grasslands, so change it. We went through the exercise and we stimulated our brains, and we're considering, so maybe this is a place on the material plane where they're going to begin their material plane tour. We should probably give it a really good like concert name in some other way. But But yeah, if you don't like it, then either take it as inspiration and step to the side of it and say, well, I'll stick to the, maybe the theme, but I won't literally put this in. Or just say, you know what, it's my world and I'm the DM, and as long as I'm happy, and then, my happiness extends through my story and it's helping my players be happy, who cares? My players didn't know that it was supposed to be a grasslands and I turned it into a mountain, so what?
Absolutely. And I love that DM secret right there. They never know anything.
They never know. Have a good night, Hypnotic Gamer. Thank you for being around. Adagio Rose, you're gonna crash, but something to come back. Yeah. Please watch it, Adagio, and I'd love to see you back here and know your thoughts on our workshops. Old Port is here, and your half your party is gonna get deployed. Oh, I've not experienced that personally, but as I have veterans in my store community, I know how that can, we're breaking up the band, but it's something that can't be avoided. Raz says after they play in the grasslands is where they played become swamp. Yeah, they could leave a trail behind them. In fact, as we're talking in your workshop, the tour dates could be selected. We could end up making 5. Yeah, 5 sounds pretty good. 5 different settings for them to leave their mark, and then have this grand culmination afterwards. But anyway,
well, this is Maddie before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No.
Before we dive full into this, would you mind if we give a quick shout out for our events coming up?
Oh shoot, yeah. Because I did mention something that rhymes with Arnival of Olds. Yeah, please give a shout out here.
Well, first, for anyone who's unaware, I am Trust a Flump in the chat. I'm Jeremy from DnD Time, and this is Pete. He's also here.
Hi, I'm Pete. I am gonna write in chat right now. Hi, I'm Pete, and you'll see that I'm Jeremy 58.
But yeah, and we run Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, and we've got some cool events coming up. If you like what you see here tonight, what we put together, check us out. We have a big Halloween event that goes all through October. We call it the Carnival of Souls. It's very whimsical. It's very fun, and it's great. We have a series of one-shots that we run every Friday for our viewers, so our viewers get to play in the games. If you're interested in playing in D&D, please check it out. Hop by, join us, play with us, and be part of our fun little thing that we do. Yeah, that's all. Just quick, check us out.
Indeed.
Please
do. The Carnival of Souls is our big event. So if there is a time to come and hang out at Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, I'm so excited for running one-shots with everyone. And, we always got room at our table for new people to come in. It's kind of what we've built our whole community on over there.
Especially for new people.
Yeah, in particular, I suppose. New players, we try and give them. We just guarantee priority to new players who want to come in and give Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time a shot and see if it's for them. So, yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was gonna say I love Raz651 in chat just saying, "Do you guys have a band yet?" I'll tell you, there are several players in the land of D&D Time who have bards who are looking to make a band. They've been thinking about it for a very long time.
You can round it out.
Maybe. We got the Zuzip art up there now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love that one with Dakar. Beautiful.
So as you can see, there's the things that happen over at D&D Time are a lot of fun and very evocative for people and create a lot of memories. And besides, have you ever wanted to fight a samurai llama scorpion stag? Because not only can you, but there's magnificent art. This one was from D Forgotten One.
That's a great one. I really love that picture.
It's incredible.
There's a full color one, I think, up there somewhere.
Yeah. It is in amongst the others.
Oh, there it is, down a little bit.
So good.
Am I missing it? No.
It's directly above your cursor.
Yeah, just above where your cursor was
on
the stream.
Yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
So cool.
Yeah, gorgeous.
This is just one of the many villains you may fight in Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time.
Strange.
Baloo's Clues, have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Goldspark Jeremy. So when there's Friday 2-2, can that be Carnival of Holes for Groundhog Day. The answer, Cold Spark, is yes, absolutely, that can be the case.
Saying a sentence like that is what makes it happen.
Yeah, right.
In D&D time.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Just wanted to put that out there.
No.
We want as many people as we can to come enjoy this amazing thing. And oh my god, I loved that adventure. Oh boy.
All of the
That's a
fun.
Matty Morg's original, folks.
Yep. That's a Matty Morg's MS Paint, which y'all can see me. If we end up making a map of this, and you're gonna see me bust out my MS Paint skills. All right, so we have our worksheet open. We have a random number generator. Gasp! We are one of the few channels that really seems to like random number generation on Twitch. And of course, we have our handy dandy core rulebooks open because we keep things as simple as we can, as accessible for people to come in on this D&D 101 level workshop. Because, well, I say 101 like there's like super advanced. I don't know if there necessarily is super advanced D&D. Because it's really just the story that you tell, and every story is going to be different with different rules and whatnot. So anyway, let's keep it simple. So what I'd like to do is I want to begin by generating two terrains that are predominantly featured, not the only things that are around, but that are predominantly featured in an area. There's nothing wrong with saying, well, we're going to set this in a desert. Okay, well, I mean, deserts have their own other, like, sub-ecosystems, or you could say that, some of the sand dunes are quite mountainous, or you could have a desert located on a coast or the like. So this is something, it's an arbitrary line in the sand. You want 3? Find 3. I think 2 is a happy number. And where I find terrain for this generation is with either the Druid or here on page 68 of the Player's Handbook. It's really convenient because there are 8 different Druid circles that are predominant. And I guess if we were playing in D&D time, we could probably just call it a 9th with the trash, or the next to civilization area, if we wished. And so I'm going to roll a d8 because you're going to find these same 8 territories that have mechanical effects for druids and rangers. And if you're planning content for, well, who knows? You might have a ranger that's rolling through your story. You might have someone playing a druid and can benefit from visiting this area magically or just as from here. So I'm going to roll 2d8, and we're going to determine some basic placeholders for where our stage will be set. We rolled 2 and 5. So this is a coast, 3, 4, 5, coast and grassland. And coast could be, well, it could be, for any of you who live on the west or east coast, for those of you who live along the Gulf, or for those like me who are on the shores of the Great Lakes. Coast is a saltwater term, shore is more of a freshwater. We could even interpret this, and maybe this is along the bank of a mighty river, like a Mississippi or Nile or Amazon, but with a great body of water that would facilitate some kind of travel and commerce, I think is implied by coast. And grassland could be more of an arid savanna. It could be the Great Plains of the U.S. In fact, we even... with the last time we made terrain, grassland, we interpreted it to be bamboo, as bamboo is grass. And so we actually had a great bamboo grassland that was a part of our bamboo Arctic territory that we made. So there's a lot of ways we can interpret this. And these 2 aspects alone may not be enough to start super solidifying where we are, what's going on, but they're going to help us. We can refer to perhaps places we know in real life that might have these characteristics.
Anything that's striking either of you off the bat?
I mean, Maddie, you immediately went to the coast facilitating commerce. So I'm like, can you sail on lava lake?
Oh.
Maybe. If we end up deciding to put this in a hellish perspective, that's like the coast of hell, I'd imagine.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Okay, yeah.
At least a possibility.
I was kind of coming in on a similar vibe. I was picturing, like, a really craggy and rocky like like cliffside with a terrible blood moon painting the ocean red. Like,
oh jeez, yours is a lot spoopier. Mine's just badass lava.
Mine's spoopier. Yours is more metal.
You
Very
all
true.
actually had something similar in a D&D time adventure. It was a fishing tournament in the Abyss.
Oh yes. That was a fun one.
Lovely.
Do you remember the name of the? Oh yes, Trout of the Abyss.
Yes, Tread of the Abyss.
Trout of the Abyss. How can I forget that name?
We still need to run the Tomb of Annunciation. I'm very excited about that one.
There's a couple of other good ones. I did Dorm King's Blunder.
Yeah,
there was
that was a
couple
fun
of
one.
other-
The Curse
Yeah.
of Strahd.
The Hearse of Strahd.
We came with a whole ton of these.
We had a bunch of them that were good, and then I can't remember like any of.
A couple that were duds.
Oh, the Fries of Tiamat.
The Fries of
I
Tiamat
ran
was a
that
fun one
adventure.
too. Yeah.
I liked that one.
That was a good one.
Oldborn Media, if you want to get technical about it, you could lava sail. It's already been done IRL. Hell, see, apparently I don't know these things, but apparently you can sail on lava. Actually, it makes sense, right? Because lava's real thick, so it should be easy to sail. Right?
Hark is thinking an island, which of course a coast could indicate island as well, with this whatever the grassland interior. Although Hark is saying, well, maybe a series of islands, like an archipelago, which could be in a blood sea or a lava sea, of course, if you want to base it in the hells in that regard. Maybe they're getting ready for their big departure concert before going to the material plane.
Now I know the Hells.
So it's a fire
don't work
festival.
like this.
Ah.
I know the Hells don't work like this, but it could be very cool to do a Feywildy vibe, where like when the moon is right, and you go to this island, like, you know, it's almost like a kind of a plane shift, and it becomes sort of what's the term for the? I can't believe I'm spacing on this. I love the Feywild. Fey crossing, like a Avernus crossing or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think something like that works.
We
In
don't
fact,
have to put it in hell either. We can put it on the material plane, no problem.
that's how in Eberron, Eberron has the other planes just sort of phase in and out. Like they just the spheres kind of like touch for a moment, and then the two planes sort of coexist, and that's when like things get crazy because things go in and out of that crossover where that liminality is so thin. So yeah, that could be something cool. Like if we want to invoke, I mean, we're talking about, you know, Iceland, or if we're going Nordic, where a lot of, you know, like black metal and
That's true as well.
whatnot is. You know, what if they go to this island that has a correspondence in the material plane as well? Like they start playing in hell, and then their music is what like opens, and then the island shares an island counterpoint in the material plane. You know, in some like circle of stones or whatever. You know, we could dress it up how we want. In fact, we'll actually get some. We might even get a circle of stones, because that's actually a monument that we could roll, or a weird locale. And they play this, and then it sort of phases them in.
Oh, that's the ritual to teleport.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I also like
ooh.
what Cold Spark and I think Harkus DA was saying, which was an eclipse vibe could also be very cool for this.
If any of you have seen Metalocalypse, I think we're drawing on a lot of inspiration from Metalocalypse here too. So feel free to throw out any references there. All right, so we have this coast, grassland. Of course, if we want to make a hellish counterpart, you know, the blades of grass could very well be blades. They could be metallic or just razor grass, or they could be the grass could just simply be, I don't know, the arms of the damned reaching up and like swaying out of the infernal soil in the hot winds as it blows, quote unquote. Which of course would phase into, you know, its counterpoint. But if you want to make it creepy, you could make it more dead, you could make it more metal, you could make it more demonic, and they're actually just, I don't know, it's grass, but it's just blood colored or something.
I mean, yeah, there's so many things we could go with this. Let's see what else we discover as we keep rolling. Maybe that will help inform.
All right, now we're gonna roll for a form of government, and if you want this to be on one side or the other, we could roll that this is a. I mean, all devils kind of fall under one hierarchy, despite all the layers and such.
Not true. We got a Glabby in the party. So we're already breaking the rules.
It doesn't have to be in hell.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, all right. So, what island government then might accept them or welcome them, or be cursed by being at this liminal point? You know, people found this abandoned island. They're like, why has no one lived here? It looks really cool. And then they realize, oh, it's been 100 years, I guess. Well, now a gateway to hell opens up. Which, by the way, in my old store downtown, I had a gateway to hell in the basement. True story. It's worth telling. Not right now though. You'll have to stay tuned. All right. So the form of
the dice tell us, Matty.
The form of government on this island in the material plane, then, I'm going to roll a percentile set. I rolled an 88, which is a republic. And for any of you who you're not familiar with a governmental term here, they list them in the DMG. It's a government that's entrusted to representatives of an established electorate who rule on behalf of electors.
Okay. This is beautiful.
Are we having a quinky dink with something?
So I'm just
not
thinking,
for me.
right?
I just think it's funny.
See, we thought we were in hell, but really we're somewhere else. What
Okay.
if this coast, right, this island we've created, is actually an island on the astral sea? This is where I take off my sunglasses.
Okay.
Right? What if they're somewhere in the astral? And
Don't you bring the Gith into this?
now why no, it's a republic. Are the Githzerai a republic? Why would the Githzerai want these people here? Maybe
No, Yankees are the Astral Sea. Or wait, are they
they're
both?
Well,
They're both.
No, the Githzerai are in limbo.
Yankee are the Astral Pirates, and the Zerai are the Limbo Monks. I thought.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
Okay. What if we're in Sigil, and Sigil's not a republic? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna keep thinking. This is
Sure.
now.
Hey, this process, because we take it one step at a time, as we often say in this channel, it writes itself, and we're gonna find out exactly where we're going with this.
Maybe that's where we're teleporting to. That's the grassland area we're going to.
Sure.
There we go. We're making it work.
Now, what I like to do is I like to have 3 notable features in anything I'm describing, whether it's a city, something the size of a county, of a state, of a region, or of a country. There's 3 things that we can point out. You know, if we think about the U.S., we could all probably think of 3 landmarks that might help define the U.S. If you think about your local state, you know, I'm in Ohio. Whether you're from a small state or a big state, there's probably 3 things. It could be a capital city. You could have something like the world's largest ball of twine off the side of a county highway. It's still a monument. It's still a landmark. It's something that makes your area stand out. And when presenting your setting to your players, you know, it's good to have some things that are memorable, aside from just saying, well, there's a bunch of water and a bunch of grass. Well, what about it? And so again, this is arbitrary. I rolled 2 monuments and something weird, a weird locale. So for all of you playing along at home, we're on page 108 and 109 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. I'm going to roll a d20 twice, and we're going to find out which monuments are present at our setting, and then I'm going to roll another d20 for which weird locale we have. And I'll tell you, I mean, we already rolled the Volo off of Daily saying, watch it be a Volo. If we get a plane to another dimension, then I'll flip out here. All right, so our monuments, our regular monuments, are going to be a 7 and 1. So we have a ruined or toppled obelisk and a sealed burial mound or pyramid. A ruined or toppled
obelisk and pyramid really feel aesthetically similar.
This just sounds like a great venue.
I mean, there's also, if we want to like play into the toppled obelisk, that sounds to me like a toppled obelisk was some type of seal that was preventing something from happening within the pyramid.
Or that could have been a seal to prevent the devils from actually reaching here, and now that it was toppled.
from unleashing hell.
Yes, it's time for them to make their way.
That's a thing we could do. Although I don't know why there's an opposite. Oh, I guess an island obelisk. I could see an island pyramid. Do more of a do a different vibe, not like the Egyptian pyramids that you think of, but a different style.
Yeah,
So
like ziggurats and such. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like ancient South American. Hey, Kames Pact, it is good to see you. Welcome back, and hello, Delcorin. An obelisk. We have an obelisk from a promo obelisk that was sent to us by Wizards for the what was the spooky set that came out? Had that big hellstone. Yeah, it was had vampires and werewolves and spooky stuff in it. Why am I derping on the name of it? Anyway, there's a big promo item that was a big obelisk, and you weren't allowed to open it until a certain day, and then you could give away the contents of the obelisk to people in Innistrad. Yeah, it was Innistrad. Thank you. So we have one, Delcorin. All right, now what's our weird locale? We have these things that, I mean, they could be, linked to magic or just sort of like weird, but it's not overtly supernatural. The weird locales, like we're talking stuff like a dead magic zone or a wishing well. Let's roll a d20 and find out. I rolled a 19. Ooh, a canyon containing a dragon's graveyard.
This is an intense island.
Like, we're at a point with all of these different things. This sounds like, this I guess does sound Siggly. I don't know much about Sigil, but like...
It's nowhere near Sigil. This is not Siggly at all.
I'm saying it seems like a mishmash. Like, this seems like an island on which planar detritus just ends up. Some dragons get tossed in there, like, oh, an obelisk just kind of crashed into here, and here's a pyramid from over here, from one of the ancient Githzerai temples in Limbo, and here's the
well,
there's not
okay,
a lot of
saying,
uniformity there.
We're saying there's a form of government, but what if that form of government is unrelated to what's going on here? So obviously now there's a ruined obelisk with the sealed burial man, and we're saying that that the obelisk was preventing something, but now that it's ruined, it's not. Well, and maybe the government here, the Republic, was trying to keep it from being toppled. So they're kind of resisting all that. The Dragon's Graveyard, I'm unsure where this all fits in.
I like Old Port Media's idea, which is someone is reappropriating a dragon skeleton for part of the stage set.
Oh, hi! Heck yes! Oh, it's just got 10 times more badass.
I can picture the pyrotechnics coming out of the skeleton's mouth.
I'm into it. So you just gotta figure it out, Pete.
Yeah, one step at a time. Just you noodle on it for a little bit, and I don't think any of us are having steam shoot out our ears with this thought process. And it's all building naturally. It's an organic growth that's binding everything together despite the randomness, and that's what I love about this process.
USDA organic.
Yeah.
And I'm loving how the chat I can see you chat also being super inspired by this. I mean, Old Port, that was such an awesome idea. Raz coming up with the #1 song can be called The Call of the Dracolich. Beautiful. I'm loving this.
All right. Now let's determine. So we know we have a republic, and in a republic of what or made by who. Another step I take is to determine a dominant race and a minority race that live in the area. And dominant and minority they could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. It could just be by sheer number. It could be by wealth or political influence. It could just be it could be along a lot of different lines. So I want to ask you two: should we stick to the 9 races in the player's handbook, or do you want to do anything else special?
I think the 9 races in the player's handbook work for me.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're talking about dominant minority races, and the thing what it comes down to, right, is if you're taking something like that, if there's one like one to backseat. They're not a minority, right? They're an individual.
Yeah,
you know? There
people
still needs to be
passing
an
through. Or,
appreciable quantity.
yeah,
to
yeah.
be, yeah.
In fact,
Cold wants to toss in the DnD Time races.
we could if you want.
How much more? How hard is it, Maddie?
It would just be, instead of rolling a D9, it would be rolling a D14. I think y'all have 5 different races.
I'm down.
Yeah, why not? Let's
Okay.
roll one, because we're rolling 2. Let's roll the dominant race on the 9, and then throw the D&D Time in ones for the minority. How do you feel about that?
Sure.
I'm fine with this. Absolutely.
Let me go to your homebrew compendium on your convenient and wonderful website. So I have this up. I'm going to roll a D9 first, and actually I'm just going to roll a D10 because that way if we get, I don't know, it's just aesthetically more pleasing to me. So I rolled an 8.
Agreed.
Oh, almost a tiefling. Almost. If it was a 9, that would have been a tiefling.
I was hoping for a tiefling.
So instead of tiefling, we have half orcs.
Yeah, it's pretty metal.
Yep, agreed.
And half orcs in this case could, we call them half orcs mechanically. They could just be their. In fact, in Eberron, half elves are their own race. They're just an elvish style race. They're not considered like half human, half elf all the time. They make themselves like half elves that have babies with half elves make half elves, but they're not. I forget the name of it. So half orc. I mean, it could indicate that for some reason we have populaces of orcs and humans that are, or who knows? I mean, we know that only one half is orc. The other half could be tiefling, even. If we really want. Mechanically, we have half orcs.
I mean,
and our
Maddie, the other half could also be orc.
so
Who are we to say?
half orc and half orc is half orc.
Yeah.
I mean, the math might check out for them. Aztec orcs. So accidental. Something like that you can find in Tomb of Annihilation. Aztorcs, says Cold Spark.
Aztorcs is a pretty good portmanteau.
So now we have a D5 to find out which D&D Time custom race. Bunnyfolk, Entothropes, Florins, Grung, or Undead also live here in this area with half-orcs. And
Undead would be very metal.
I'm gonna roll a D6.
I'm kind of hoping for undead again. Yeah.
And I was gonna we do have undead. I rolled a 5.
Hey.
And
Very metal.
And so I guess in particular, do you just want to keep it as undead, or do you want to go like dragonborn, dwarf, elf?
I think we roll another D6, right?
I feel like for this one we should just pick. Isn't there an orc?
But here's the reason I say that, right? Is if did the half orcs kill all of the like dragonborn, and now the dragonborn are all undead? Or
there is a dragon graveyard here, so that could suggest that the dragonborn were, progenitors of, or not progenitors, but the offspring.
I mean, if it's rolling more dice, then why not? Sure, let's do it.
All right, so we're rolling a d6, and we're gonna determine, which undead race is here. I rolled another 5, so undead humans. So that might suggest that maybe. Well, I mean, we have half orcs.
Only the strong survived.
They just weren't metal enough.
Undead in general, however, human. More in particular would be the majority of the minority undead race here. But the undead do seem to unlive side by side with the half-orcs. So something happened here. It could even be a great plague or something that has happened, that, the half-orcs survived because of the orcish DNA kept them alive because they're so tough and they all have focus sashes in Pokemon terms. But anyway, now let's go to how do they get along? How do the half-orcs and our undead, our humans? There might even still be a couple alive humans. They might be just something notable. You go see them in the zoo or something. What's their race relations? How do they get along in this republic? I'm going to roll a 20-sided die, and let's talk about the results. I rolled a 4. They live in harmony.
Oh. Maybe the orcs didn't kill all the...
I mean, now that they're undead, they'd probably do a lot of obeying.
Yeah. It could just be, yeah, you got us, or yeah, we're magically compelled to follow you.
Because I'm picturing.
I feel like that would
our
fit under
undead.
I feel like that would be racial oppression, though.
Our undead in D&D time retain like their sentience and consciousness, but I don't know if we necessarily have to do that for this. I think we could just have them be kind of neutral, unless we want them to be like another.
Ooh, or maybe
class of individual.
Maybe sentient undead from around the world come to this island because the half-orcs are just fine with them. It's like, yeah,
They're tolerable, yeah.
yeah, everyone hates us too.
So
we're cool. We're all friends here. It's all
so
good.
It's the Florida or Arizona here. When you retire from life, you move to this island, and and there you live out your not so final days because the half-orcs actually welcome you. They're open-minded to people who are different, maybe because they've been persecuted for for what and who they are.
This makes sense to me. This is a very harmonious life.
And I mean, we're talking coast and grassland. I mean, swamp could work too, but I think we're definitely on a Florida kick here. Anyway, what's the ruler's status in this republic? How does the ruler come across? Because these are wonderful roleplay prompts that can create allies or antagonists. I'm going to roll a 20-sided die, and we get the result of 15. The ruler is a doltish lout.
Jeez.
The kind of doltish lout that chooses to run a rock band instead of their city, their people. Invite hellish rock bands to come and play in their town.
Pete, are you saying that we're actually taking? Oh, what was his name? He's not the band manager anymore. He's the one who's in charge.
Oh, the big bad evil guy on the nightmare.
No, the Atlantis.
He's
just a big fan.
Or he's the band manager, and he spends more of his time managing the band than managing his city.
Gotcha. So his pet
though,
project.
Course, so he's not like a true. I guess he would be the president in this instance.
Yeah, what if he's just a mega fan? He just loves the band, and so he's paid the band to come to this island.
The mayor.
Yeah, exactly. He's just a big
I like
fan.
both. No, I like both, man. Band manager and the mayor. He's just abusing power.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I mean, we didn't say that this is an island like with 1 million people living on it, or we didn't say that this was this could just be a smaller, maybe just a couple thousand, and it's sort of its own little like city-state island too. So he's a doltish lout in so much that he seems to be neglecting his governmental duties. But you know what? In a culture which is probably going to be a lot more laissez-faire, like just let us to our own business. You probably want a leader that doesn't want to meddle in your business, and so instead he's going to make his business metal, in particular, metal bands. And where can you look on an island? But perhaps you break a seal and you get a clue, like, oh, you could summon a hellish band to play here, or something along those lines. So you have someone who is actually maybe the majority of the people are living in harmony because they elected a leader for the sake of, someone's head's got to be on the chopping block. But we don't want someone who's really gonna,
do anything.
Yeah, is not gonna, like, if we want this undercurrent of, like, rock counterculture and, parents, like, waggling fingers, like, you shouldn't listen to that music and all that. So they actually wanted music. Someone... Yeah.
Maybe the Republic came up around the band, and the band manager became the mayor, Cold Spark says. I agree, Cold Spark. The music set them free.
Oh, so the band set them free and put them on this. So this is the staging area in the material plane from which they're going to go after successfully summoning here, seeing the effect they could have on the people. They rocked so hard the dead came back to life or something. And I'm loving the direction.
In that case, Maddie, what are we known for it?
One step before that, or I guess you could interchange it here. There's a notable trait about this island.
Oh, I missed that somehow.
It was a little bit off screen. I had it scrolled down here, but there's a notable trait And that notable trait is we rolled 18. There is a notable library or academy.
Okay. All right. No, I'm getting it. I'm digging it.
I mean, libraries have all sorts of information. It could even be we could take this to the side and say it's a musical conservatory.
Yeah.
And
digging.
something. It could also even be attached to the now ruined obelisk, or even a part of this pyramid.
I think it might be just unrelated. I think there might just be a library.
This gotta be a bard college. It's perfect.
A bard.
A bard college. I was gonna say I think there's just a library where there's, and that library is a tent that's outside of town of a nearby investigator trying to understand what's going on here.
I mean, if there's not, a grand institution with marble pillars that's been around for centuries with its own, cloistered aesthetics studying inside, what would be the notable library? It's someone with the traveling wagon, or the, sort of a big tent revival version of a library. It kind of just travels around with books, and it's probably more of a private deal, just with his own collection or her own collection, and. It could even end up being a bard college in that sense too. You might even have a traveling troupe that goes around and learns things. Okay, now it is time. What is this place known for? Or at least before the band, or in conjunction with the band, or even because of the band. This island is known for its 6. It's known for its flowers.
All right, this one can be unrelated. It just has nice flowers.
Maybe lovely tropical flowers, or...
Well, I mean, maybe the flowers, to contradict you, maybe the flowers are known for their propensity to raise the dead, in chewing that preserves bodies beyond death.
So kind of like a corpse flower, but it's not necessarily sinister.
No, it's just something that's become part of the diet because it makes for a good spice, and it preserves bodies to keep them alive for a long time, to make them easy to raise.
Well, the undead would appreciate that. Old Port Media is just saying that we're creating Denmark.
Wait a minute, is this what Denmark looks like? Hold the phone. Undead, half-orcs, living in harmony, run by adult Schlout, known for its tent.
Also, there's a devil band.
Yeah, and there's a devil band.
And the flowers can be tulips, yeah. And who says they all don't have, maybe leather's a commodity, so they all wear wooden clogs. All right, now the current calamity. Something is happening right now, before, during, or after the band, or the band might even be trying to help it, if not causing it. And if you think about it, look, anywhere from your city level to your county level, your state, national, international, there's always something going on. There's always something bad happening, always a fire to put out. And so when you're using this exercise to create a settlement on any level, having a current calamity also provides you as a dungeon master an excellent plot hook, or just to make the world come alive, because people have problems everywhere you go. And maybe it's not your job to solve it, but at least you know that the people there are a little bit more three-dimensional, with their own hopes and dreams and fears and such. So the current calamity on our island is the following.
There's
3.
a devil band unleashing hell.
An important figure died. Murder is suspected.
Oh no. Poor Olanthius.
Oh, so we introduce him. Well, you know what? He kind of looks like a human who has a big skull, kind of undeadish. So maybe he was a human. Was murdered.
Third barb devil.
You say the third barb devil's dead? There's only 2 barb devils.
I'm saying a third barb devil that we never get to see died off screen.
Oh.
I like that we kill Olanthius.
Olanthius has got a lot to do.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, no. We already figured it out. We already figured it out when we were doing our original. And that is the chicken that gets its head bit off on stage and turns into a demon chicken.
Oh, the abyssal chicken. So
That's
the
the
Abyssal
important
Chicken
death.
could have
That's the
been a
important death.
mascot.
That was a town mascot, yeah.
You know, I was just considering though, we could tie this into our Mickey the Flesh Golem if we killed off like a real character. Because yeah, right? They could have aggregated pieces of this murdered character and they become more of a more evil feature in this adventure. Or it's just a dead chicken. I think that's fine too. Who murdered the chicken mystery? Exactly, Hark USDA. I'm with you.
The old Who Murdered the Chicken? A tale as old as rhyme.
And look, and a chicken could be it could be the national bird. It could be, the primary staple food of the half orcs. And it could have been like the Miss Chicken Island contest winner. It's the plumpest, juiciest. It was gonna produce a new hybrid of eggs that was gonna be bringing in, all kinds of meat and bug control and all the other stuff that chickens can provide. And someone murdered it, and it turns into a little bit of a murder mystery as well.
Maybe that's why they opened up the portal in the first place. It was to get these abyssal chickens, and one thing led to another, and now there's a devil ban.
So this has turned into an infernal Scooby-Doo mystery where they just sort of roll into a town, and
and the town is whack.
And there's something. Some old man McGillicuddy's causing some mischief in town, conveniently while the crew wants to stop after a rainy night of driving in the local tavern. Which, by the way, we're gonna name this tavern. The tavern in town is going to be named. I'm gonna roll 2d20 for this. It's not that there's only one. There's probably many. But this is the place to go. If you're an adventurer, if you're someone of note, if you want to know someone or know something or acquire something, you are going to the 8 and 12. The Howling Spirit. The Howling Spirit is the tavern name.
Jeremy, I just realized that I can't use the DnD Time emotes.
Yes, I can't either.
I'm not subscribed. We should have DnD Time gift us both subs.
Yeah, I have no idea how that works. If we're supposed to do that or not.
I don't.
Because I know you're not supposed to subscribe to your own channel or something.
I don't think gifting a sub to an alt so you can use the emotes would be an issue.
I'd hope not.
Anyway, wild.
We digress.
No, that's fine. The type of tavern this is. So we have the Howling Spirit. This is the place to go when you are. We rolled a 6. It's a raucous dive.
Oh yeah, well, of course, the devil band.
We finally got one that felt like it was correct. This one was right for our. The Howling Spirit's pretty good. I like that.
Very good name.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love what we've kind of put together here, right? Because we've made a very, very eclectic, very unique locale for this so far. I feel like this is the kind of place that like the characters are exploring and the players are there and they're loving it. They're like, this is amazing. And then it's like 3 sessions in, or one of the players, like, they finally get it. They're like, wait a minute, and they're kind of they just are a little slow to get it because it's so unique.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've definitely been in that situation where.
Well, yeah, because you expect
we spend a lot of time in a place, and then I finally get it. Like, oh.
Yeah, because we expect. So we're playing in generic Western medieval Europe fantasy land. So we often push stuff to the background because we're just playing under some presumed landscape. And when you present a place like this that seems, you ask, how could these people end up here? How do you have a mix like this? How does this come to be? It's a lot more engaging because it makes the players ask questions, because it's not just conveniently peaceful rolling countryside, yada yada. There's trees, there's streams. Now let's get you onto the adventure, when the setting is a big part of the adventure, and we have made a very fascinating setting because of the way that it's disjointed, because of you have these fragmented people. You have people who are outcasts or people who just live a different lifestyle, and they're not necessarily even bad people. They just, they just don't conform with perhaps what's going on the mainland. And so they have this where, everyone is proud of their library. And so you tell this as the DM, you're my players. I'm like, and the welcome people here put, like Hawaiian leis on you because that's known for its flowers. So you come to this island, this kind of Nordic island that has leis of tulips or whatever. I mean, again, just kind of going back to chat comments. And they say, hey, if you need anything, our local library's in town for the following, 12 days. You're like, the library's in town? What do you mean? Oh, we're very proud of this collection and so forth. And then they finally see that it's just like a traveling tent with some books or something. And then it's going to make it stand out. It's going to make it a lot more memorable because it's not just, whatever, the marble austere library. It's been there for centuries. Another Candlekeep. Cool stuff happens in Candlekeep. But, is Candlekeep itself, it's just sort of expected to be there. It's just, it is a monolith that you visit, maybe you get info, and then you leave. This place, though, you could talk to the librarian or the librarians who would be sort of like traveling, not like carnies or something, but, traveling sages or again, everyone takes pride in the flowers. The undead wear flowers, the half-orcs wear flowers. It's woven in because maybe flowers mean something. There's a lot of culture that we've built along the way. And there's actually one last piece, one more thing that we must roll. There is some kind of a predominant religious building in town. And I'm going to roll a d20 and find out what that is. I rolled a 1. It is a temple to a good or neutral deity. So they keep it kind of vague. But a temple to a good or neutral deity.
I mean the neutral god of rock, yeah?
Ah.
And not rock, but, I think some kind of deity of music or the arts seems very appropriate here.
Yeah.
Nature could also be a part of this, too. Well, maybe with the respect of the flowers and maybe even the predominance of the flowers all around in the grasslands.
I'll be real, based on the variety, I guess we could say, of stuff that we have here. If I were to put this in the lands of D&D time, I would say it's God Mrognan. But I guess we could do any.
Mrognan. So yeah, everyone wakes up in the morning. Oh, God Mrognan to you.
Exactly, Matt. You understand God Mrognan.
A Dionysus type deity. That could work, or you could even have that the traveling library is just that. All the students and acolytes of sort of an Ogma-like figure. So neutral, we're about knowledge. We're not here to judge that you're undead, but, maybe we can learn something from your history, or we could learn how you came back. Or we don't judge that, you're of Orcish descent and you're mixed with gnome or tiefling or whatever else. We're just here to tell stories. We're here to collect knowledge because we are these disparate factions that have come here, kind of washed up, like what you were saying, the detritus of coincidence, and so you could get sort of a learned god that's here to maybe put it all together and give people a sense of identity by tying their stories together, which of course is what we're also doing. So it's kind of meta.
Yeah, it can be a little meta sometimes, though.
All right, so those are the prompts we've gone through, and by going through this process, we have drawn lines in the sand. So yes, of course, there's thousands of square miles of desert out there, but you know what? This is our territory. We drew our lines, and we've set out now. There's a culture that we've built. There's people that exist here for reasons, and even if it takes a little bit of head scratching, or even if it flows naturally, that this is just this is a place of coincidence. That the obelisk here was a beacon for many peoples to come here. Now that it's broken, I don't know, that could be threatening. The calamity of their the fertility of their humble chickens, which was a great source of pride to them, has been besmirched. because there's a murder suspected that one of them has or
Are you saying, Maddie, a murder most foul? I felt really good about that.
You should. That was amazing, and puns are absolutely welcome on the Matty Morgs channel.
That hurts me. Now that I'm
Jeremy,
thinking about that.
Jeremy, someday you'll develop the sophisticated sense of humor that's required.
And for those of you out there too who see this, if you have your DMG, you can see there's a lot more. You could generate an entire town. There's different buildings and residences. You could just build it, square by square on your map if you really want to. For the exercises we do here, these are all the things that, who am I to decide? But I'm me, and I decided that these are the important things that will help give you prompts to think about. And I think this really is we've found a way. We've had this mix because if you think about it, the inner demons they're kind of outcasts in their own sense as well, in their own right. They're not fully devils in their cast and crew. They have humans and I don't know, maybe they have humans. They have demons in their ranks, and so you have this mixed band that was probably drawn here, maybe even by the obelisk. It could have even broken, or that was the thing that summoned them here. And now for these people who have just always seemed to find themselves just, maybe through serendipity or just the literal or metaphorical tides would just carry folks like this to this island. It's a special place now, and it's under threat. Everything these people hold dear, their simple lifestyle of, we came here to retire in undeath, or we came here because we're these half-orcish outcasts, or the simple joys they find in life because they've avoided war. They live in harmony. They just want to raise their chickens, grow their flowers, listen to music, and see what stories the storyteller or priest comes by on like a 10-day basis as he travels the island, collecting things from new arrivals and swapping stories and providing aid. And it's a wonderful, it's sort of like the simple small town life, but it's different enough because they accept the fiendish rock band for who they are and what they're bringing, as opposed to being the whatever, they're playing small town USA, and then the parents get upset and things are threatened, and here you actually start out and everyone's cool. Everything's weird, but everything is cool. And it turns our standard expectations on its head when you introduce the island, and then they actually get to go because they hear, oh yeah, they're going to put on a performance. Who? The inner demons. Oh, that sounds pretty intense. Oh, they are. You've never heard anyone like this before. And then they go to a concert after going through this quaint island by day and seeing the chickens and the flowers, and again, even the peaceful undead, or at least the shambling controlled undead if you wanted to keep them in that neutral state. And then you ask, well, what's up with that? Well, you should talk to the librarian. Oh, where's the library? The library won't be here for about 15 more days. What? No, never mind. Just go to your hotel, and here's a ticket to go see the band. And then they come out on stage, and then they have the full crew, ticket please, and you got to get through security. And then, you got these two buff dudes with big gold baby face masks on. And then you get here, and then you just listen to this show, which is probably speaking to your soul. Devils resonate with souls. That's their currency. That's the fuel for their bargains. And they can actually put on not just a musical or an emotional concert. They can put on a soulful concert that is, that it tickles your soul. It tugs at it. And it touches you in a way that you've never experienced before. And then you learn that, so here's these people, they've got to be bad. They have horns and they have red skin and they're devils and all this other stuff. They're not necessarily bad people. They have a reputation. Maybe their culture's different. But everyone on the island seems chill with them, except that one, that Mickey guy who even found his way over here to the material plane. Apparently got sucked into the portal too. He must have snuck through.
I really love this island of misfits that we've built up here. This actually seems like a very, very interesting location. I'm very into it.
Is there a particular name that you'd like to... I mean, we could just do the old tried and true random naming method that is featured on D&D Time, if you'd like.
Oh, yikes.
Oh, for an island?
Town?
For an island.
Oh, no.
I think we pick a name on this one. For a character, yes, but for an island.
You don't want Tissix Island or Zuzip Island? ZEWXIP?
I think more importantly, Harksida says we need to name the chicken. I think that's higher on the priority list as well.
Can we name the chicken using your method?
Yes, I think we can.
That we certainly can.
All right, so this is the name of the abyssal chicken. The chicken that was... The what?
I'm sorry, that's the first roll. Is D8 plus 2.
Oh, that's right. D8 plus 2. So here. D8 plus 2, so y'all can see this here. And I'm going to roll 1D8 plus 2. 10. We maxed out.
Oh, God.
Man.
All right, now 10 D2s.
D2s. So we have 2 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 1.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so 7 ones. So now roll us 7 D20.
All right, 7 D20s coming your way. All right, if you're ready. 17, 8, 7, 16, 14, 9, and 16.
Now 3D6. Oh, wait, no. 3D6.
Okay. 2, 2, 5.
So the twos, the D6 numbers, the letters that are marked as 2,
Yes.
are in order going to be E, E, O.
Okay.
Those 2s are E, E, and O. And then what are our numbers for the first round?
It was 17.
I got him already.
Oh.
JKLRTTV.
Okay.
A V.
Oh, V. Yeah, I was saying I didn't remember a 20 in there. All right. JKLRTTV.
Like Raz.
All right, everyone, you have these
a
numbers
lot of
or
consonants.
these letters. Yeah. So this is Norse.
man.
A lot of consonants all jumbled together. I say that with due respect to all my Nordic friends.
Okay, let's see. We can put the K, the L, and the R together, right? We can just go Klur to start a name. That's how I like to start these. Like, what 3 can I put together and make it like, you know what I mean? And then we can put like an E after that, or maybe D.
Clairvolter.
Klirvalter.
Clairvolter.
That is a very Nordic name. Is there a rule about putting an umlaut over the O?
The answer is, the rule is you can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Custos Lupus saying Clairvolter.
Ah.
JK Rotvi.
I like these.
Just kidding, Rotvi.
I got Shiertitlov.
Clear Titov?
I put it in the chat.
Oh.
Shiertitlov. Hello, I am Slavic chicken.
The last half is almost your name. I would say that is indeed rather Norshish.
I love it.
There's an otter, and then there's also, if it was daughter, like Odin's daughter or something like that. It's, you know, how you have like James' son. There's also daughter as a part of a name as well.
This is some great.
Daughter. And I think that has the umlaut as well.
As the first name, what I'm working with over here is VJORL. It's Vjorl.
Oh yeah. Vjorl.
That's a good one.
And then the last name we have still TETEK, which Tetek.
Vjorl Tetek.
Teet, but Vjorl. Oh, Vjorl sounds great.
Vjorl does kind of roll off the tongue there. Vjorl Tetek.
Pleased to meet you. I am Vjorl. Oh.
Except this is the chicken.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's how the chicken speaks.
These are some excellent names for the chicken.
These
guys.
aren't. This isn't just a chicken, Jeremy. It's an abyssal chicken.
Yes, it is an abyssal. We have to keep that in mind.
So abyssal chickens, I guess. So I've got a very very minor spoiler here for Descend into Avernus, but do you guys mind if I have a very minor spoiler?
I am fine with that. You offered a warning. People can earmuff.
Clear warning.
And I will wave on camera if anyone is earmuffing when the spoiler is over.
Thank you, Maddie.
Yes.
In the adventure, it features the abyssal chicken to some degree. And there's a note in the adventure which says, once you have witnessed an abyssal chicken, you can summon an abyssal chicken as your familiar if you are capable of doing it. Which I love. It's wonderful. It just expressly says that once you have discovered the abyssal chicken, you can add it to the list of familiars.
You have to comprehend it. You have to know that it's a possibility. So this is.
These are great names.
Clark Fjord. Clark Fjord. Ural Tetek.
Instead of Ural Tetek, my original, I'm going to change it to 2 T's so that it's just Viroltek. And that's one word. And that's my final submission. Viroltek.
These are some great names. I'm a big fan.
Oh, so you want to go JVORLETTEK?
Something like that.
More or less, I think, is the answer.
Okay.
Viroltek.
These are beautiful.
And this is so you have an interesting premise. There's been a murder of an interestingly named chicken who has a culturally appropriate name, and it would seem that that the chicken might come back to life. Maybe people weren't expecting that, or it's come back.
It's all of the flowers.
Like a pet cemetery kind of thing.
Just to get it in under the wire, my flower undead idea, I really like it if it's not immediately clear that the humans are undead. Their bodies are just so preserved, they're not rotting. So even though there's a lot of people undead walking around, and everyone's kind of slow and shambly and a little bit yeah. It's not they're not undead, and that seems like it could be a cool twist.
And it's another good revelation for the players that find themselves on this island.
Exactly.
Part of that exploration, right? They discover, oh my god, everyone's undead at some point.
People are dead, yeah.
Yeah, this whole time, I was talking to them, or, I slept in an undead hotel, and, I still have my brains, but
yikes.
But chilling, indeed.
And I think having something quaint like this, that builds up to have the band, and maybe not all the members, because again, if you want to highlight the Arenyes, if you want to highlight the manager or whomever, that's fine. But then you have the quaint setting that's different enough to all be remembered and not just generic, fantasy background. it then does everything to illuminate the band. And now we have this little bit of a mystery where the chicken has come back as an abyssal chicken, and who knows why. Or we use the stats of an abyssal chicken and we reskin it to be something else that we want to be the murder mystery. And that's going to lead us into, oh, there's a murderer on the island, or is there someone here who might have something against their culture or against, against devils or demons in some way. So maybe there's a purist, and of course the ultimate red herring would be Mickey. Who's going around killing the demons and leaving only the devils. And so this candidate comes back as a demon, but perhaps with a message or something along those lines. Or if we don't want to say abyssal chicken, you could call it a hellish chicken or an infernal chicken. Instead, if you want it to come back as a diabolical chicken and not a demon-possessed one, since D&D does separate that. Or let's not forget, because Yugoloths are a part of Avernus. Yugoloths are fiends, though they're the neutral party in the Blood War. They're they're kind of the play both sides merchants, the informers, the mercenaries. And this could even be a Yugoloth possessed chicken that's come back to try, because someone there's stuff going on at home, or they got to get a message. And of course, you had someone, a prized possession. So everyone was pouring their heart and soul and emotion in this prized fowl. It was murdered, but that murder actually facilitated a Yugoloth messenger to possess it. And now you have like a Bakaloth or something like that. And so now you have this Yugoloth informant chicken that's acting as sort of as a Kaet Sith from FF7, if any of you are familiar. If not, then don't look it up. But if any of you get it, then congrats on you. But is actually furthering the mystery. So the chicken died, the chicken came back, and the chicken doesn't look like it normally did. But then there's a message from home in the chicken, and it will take you onto your adventure that's fueled by discovery, rock and roll, and overcoming the differences that split us apart, which is a fun, wholesome moral to explore on a demon, black death metal rock island.
Those are the kind of wholesome stories I feel like are very rarely told in Dungeons and Dragons, because I think things tends toward more like the catastrophic and the grandiose. And
I don't think those stories are never told. For
think
example, we
rarely.
see them all the time in Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time, a wonderful show that we run every Friday on the channel D&D Time on Twitch.
The stories are attempted to be told in a wholesome manner.
Yeah.
The results of the players in the
sometimes
games
a little-
don't always
little
have it end up in a wholesome manner.
I would say the majority of the time.
We sometimes have wholesome adventures.
Yes, I'm just saying it's a. I think it's a tone that is very surprisingly neglected in Dungeons and Dragons on the whole.
Yeah, one that stood out to me was the one that I played in. It was we visited that the Blossom Vale, or the Blooming Vale, and it was just a bunch of little flowers that started growing, and we had to help the demigod of flowers because they went under attack by followers of the Cloud, and they were overcome by the defenders there, and their bodies were buried, but where the flowers were growing up over the warlocks, sorcerers, something, or clerics. Anyway, they were sort of like possessed, and we just had this. The breaking moment was that rally cry from Zuzip the Blossomer Florin, which is like, everyone go, and all these little flowers uproot themselves and like swarm over, and they're fighting for their future, and it was it was a little creepy. It was really cool. It was very wholesome in a fun location.
I'll say, what a weird reality that Bloom, the lesser god of flowers and flower arrangement, is the most hated NPC in D&D Time.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Also loved.
Yeah, he's beloved by some, but really he's not the most hated. It's just the people that hate him are the most vocal.
Yeah, isn't that how that goes?
The most polarizing. I didn't realize so many people have such strong feelings on flower arrangement. You know, I guess people got a passion.
Well, to cap off this part of the workshop, and I understand if you two got to go to bed here because it's pretty late.
I will certainly need to go.
If you get the chance to catch up on stream or VODs, what you're gonna see is just as you started by opening random pieces of plastic on your channel, and you threw out an idea of a fiendish rock band, and now we've taken it through this step of creating a setting. And from here, we're going to go and we're going to create NPCs and villains, and we're going to build this up step by step, and you're going to find, and not just to you two, because it's probably preaching to the choir, but for all of you out there, you're going to find, you say, this is a ridiculous setting. Come on, who would play D&D in a place like this? Half-orcs and undead people and all this? You're going to find that as we build more elements, they're going to be organically rooted into and or grown from everything that we've done, and it's going to create a comprehensive area with a culture, an economy, a religion, and their own problems that they face like anyone else, even if they're different. And so as the days roll on and we're going to make more of this product, I think you're really going to see this idea grow, and I think by Saturday it's going to culminate into something truly awesome. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you too, Shymek, aka Pete, and Trustaflumph, aka Jeremy, for spending a late night with me here in our workshop talking about this.
Maddie,
it was a blast.
Indeed, Maddie. Thank you for having us over here. Always a joy coming and building with you. Whenever we get the opportunity to do so.
We'll have to collude more in the future.
Gosh, yeah, I know, right?
Y'all can count on it. We'll be I know we got a lot of I know we usually casual. We do have a lot of cool plans for stuff that we're going to be doing together with Maddie Morgs over the upcoming Halloween time period. Which, if I may, one last time,
please
plug our Halloween Carnival of Souls event. It's going to be really fun, and without trying to oversell it, you should come check it out. It's going to be fun. The whole month of October, come play D&D with us on Fridays.
Oh, and the signups are closed.
Signups are closed.
Wednesday.
Yep. Still, even if you don't make it, always sign up, everyone. You'll still get play points, even if you sign up. So.
True fact.
Yep. So come and hang out. Check out their homebrew stuff they've made. Look at the fan art people have made. Please join their Discord. It's a fun community, and I'm very grateful to be a part of the overall Twitch D&D community, with you two boys and meeting everyone that you were that you had been playing with, and helping a new streamer like me, because you already had experience under your belts when I came around, and so I was humbled and awed by your presentation, by your production value, and I'm grateful that you chose me to be on your dodgeball team on the playground.
Oh, that is very sweet of you to say.
And I was just thinking, I really need to get around to putting those fun graphics in. Fun graphic goes here has been there for a while.
Yeah, that's well, you're building anticipation. We all want to know what the fun graphic is.
Well, it's so fun.
Jerry, I'll tell you this.
A normal graphic couldn't simply do it. You have to imagine how fun it is.
Jeremy, I'll tell you this. That graphic where it says fun graphic goes here is probably more fun than any graphic you could put in.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to ponder this. Is troubling.
So let's. I think we should end the evening here. I was hoping to be able to work on some NPCs, but I think we're going to do that tomorrow, as it's almost 4. And as we do here at Maddie Morgs, we're going to go raid someone in our community to help support them. And it looks like Donnie Sorrow, who was in here earlier talking, and he ended up picking up a couple capsules in a box too. Actually, he was a winner of a box in our raffle. Let's go raid him, give him some support. He's playing the new Monster Hunter expansion. At least that's what it looked like he was doing here. Awesome dude.
I always wanted to get down on that.
And I love being able to support you all out there by giving you a box to stand on and shout it out. So we're going to raid Donnie Sorrow. So everyone, put your Viking helmets on, grab your raiding axes or your raiding bouquets. Maybe we're gentle Vikings.
Sorry.
You're fine. And
Doing my rating music.
and we're gonna go say hi to Donnie Sorrow. Actually, let me get through. Speaking of like limbo and purgatory here, the Gith. For about 30 seconds, we're all Gith here on Twitch when we go through ads. It's the Gith experience. And once I get through this, that way it's not that awkward situation, where you go raid someone, but then you're caught in ads, and they're like, "Yeah, hype, hey everyone, and you don't hear it, and you're just seeing text, like text and emotes and everything. And you're like, I can't interact. There we go. All right, Call of Duty has finished advertising itself, so let's go raid Donnie Sorrow, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for another workshop where we're going to take the baton that's been passed to us by DnD Time, and we're going to run with it, and let's turn around and give Pete and Jeremy something to really be happy and proud about for their brainchild.
I would say that we already are, if I may speak for Jeremy as well on that.
How dare you speak for me, Pete?
Consider him spoken for.